What's up, sports fans? So I'm a little bit late, so I'm gonna basically give you two videos in one here. So been out of town, so I hadn't had a chance to do a review of the NFL games from a week ago. So we're gonna do a review of the games and a preview of this week's games right now. All right. I'm gonna start off with going back to last week's games. I'd probably rather not, but it's kind of what I have to do. Well, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to get out the hard part, as you can imagine, out of the way first. And if you see my wall here, you already know I'm not going to get this one out of the way first. The Thursday night game, I'd like to forget about it. Of course, Tua left the game with a concussion, threw 3 picks in the game. That one interception he threw during along the sidelines that he didn't get enough arm on was the one that was terrible. The other 2 interceptions were on the receivers. One of them hit the guy in the shoulder pads and bounced off. Dolich or something like that, who probably shouldn't even be on the team. And then the third one, Robbie Chosen slipped down, and he's not on the team anymore. They cut him right after that. This is a game that was nothing positive to take out of it if you're a Miami fan, other than the fact that Achane played well and he had to do everything. He was the whole offense. As Devon Achane came in the game questionable, and they basically ran him into the ground. They ran him 22 times, and he caught 7 balls for 69 yards and the lone touchdown. Josh Allen didn't really do a whole lot. Had a 51-yard touchdown run, I think it was, by James Cook. Just the Dolphins' mistakes doomed them from the beginning. And 3 touchdown wins. Buffalo does what Buffalo usually does, and that's beat Miami. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get to the Sunday games. Talk about the Saints and the Cowboys, the Who Dat Nation, 44-19. Talk about impressive and efficient. I mean, talk about Alvin Kamara, man. He ran 20 times, scored 3 touchdowns on the ground, and then caught one in the air. Derek Carr only had to throw the ball 18 times. The Saints scored touchdowns on – where their starters scored touchdowns on every single possession. Well, I think they just scored on every single possession if you include the field goals, the starters, as they steamrolled the Cowboys 44-19. The game that was a surprise to pretty much all of us, but the way that they won, probably the biggest surprise. Tampa Bay and Detroit, a little bit of an upset here on the road going to Detroit. Baker Mayfield's been fantastic this year. He was fantastic again, got the job done, ran for a touchdown, threw a touchdown, 20-16, a victory over the Detroit Lions in Detroit, despite Jared Goff having 370 yards, but Goff did throw a pair of picks. That probably was the difference in the game. Now, Malik Willis got the start for injured Jordan Love and played pretty decent, I would say. Outperformed Anthony Richardson, who did not look great, completing only 50% of his passes, as the Packers won 16-10 at home against the Indianapolis Colts to get their first victory of the year. Colts are still winless. The Jets survive a game against the Tennessee Titans because for the second week in a row, Will Levis acted like he lost his freaking mind, throwing a stupid pass, and the coach let him know just how stupid it was going back to the sidelines and even talked about it after the game. As the Jets, they won this game. They got help with penalties in the end. They got Will Levis with a horrible pick. Not a lot to be excited about this victory. You're happy if you're a Jet fan because a win's a win, but this game did not leave you feeling like, oh, man, we're going to have a great season. It left you more feeling like I'm relieved we won this game if you're a New York Jet fan. Minnesota Vikings 2-0, big surprise win against the San Francisco 49ers. In this game here, Sam Darnold continuing to be hot, looking like a revitalized Sam Darnold. Many said last year when he went to the 49ers and sat behind Brock Purdy that he learned a lot and improved a lot going into the year, and we're starting to see it. Maybe Kyle Shanahan created his own monster here as his own monster, and his team goes out and wins 23-17. Justin Jefferson, what a game, superstar game, 4 catches, 133 and a touchdown, including, I believe it was a 97-yard touchdown grab. Seahawks survived the Patriots in overtime in Foxborough 23-20. Patriots playing much better than we thought. They've been running the ball really well with Stevenson. They look like they're going to be a better team than we thought. Some of us, I think I had them going 0-17. Well, no, I may have had them winning 2 games. Realistically, I didn't think they would win more than maybe 4. But right now, I think this looks like a team that can win 6 or 7 games. Seattle's 2-0 on the season. Field goal in the end in overtime by Jason Myers. They survive it. Geno, great game, 327 yards and a touchdown. DJ Metcalf, an absolute monster. DK, 10 catches, 129 yards and a touchdown and a tutty. Also, by the way, Gibson had 96 yards running for New England. So they had 2 backs out there doing their thing. Give Gerard Mayo and the Patriots their props for that. They're going to be competitive. The Washington Commanders win a game for the first time in NFL history. They make 7 field goals. The Giants scored 3 touchdowns, and the Giants lose. I got to check the box score real quick because I don't know if the kicker actually missed 3 extra points or they go for some 2-point conversions. Let's see what the kicker did here. He actually missed 1 extra point. So what I'm thinking is he must have missed the extra point, and then they decided to chase points on the last 2 touchdowns. I didn't actually see the game, so they chased points and it bit them. 21-18, 7 field goals. Malik Neighbors, the former LSU Tiger, big game for the Giants, 10 catches, 127 yards, playing against his old quarterback on the other side from the Tigers, and Jaden Daniels, who went 23 of 29, 226, no touchdowns, though the team had none. He must have done okay, though. I mean, he got him in field goal range enough to get 7 field goals. Give him props for that. Jim Harbaugh has the Chargers rolling to a 2-0 start. They beat the Carolina Panthers. We know about the Carolina Panthers, and we know they benched Bryce Young this week. Bryce Young completed 20-something passes for 80-something yards. I've never seen anything like that. No, excuse me, 18 for 26 for 84 yards. 18 completions, 84 yards, an interception. QBR of 6.5, ranking of 57.2. That's abysmal. Justin Herbert just doing enough. In this offense, Harbaugh doesn't need Justin Herbert to do that much, which I think it bodes well for the young man. I think he can win like this. 14 out of 20, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. And then you look at the run game, J.K. all day. J.K. Dobbins, 17 for 131. And then Gus Edwards rushed it 18 times. They ran the ball 44 times. What's unusual for Jim Harbaugh, and this is the way he coaches, you don't see many guys that are former quarterbacks that just love to run the rock. You would think coming in as a coordinator, you're a former quarterback, you'd like to throw the ball around the yard, but that's never really been Jim Harbaugh's style. He's more of a running type coach. And 26-3 win here. They're off to a 2-0 start after a miserable 6-11 season a year ago, maybe even 5-12. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm sure their fans are really happy with Jim Harbaugh. Cleveland Browns 18-13 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence not looking good. Lawrence 14 out of 30 for 220 yards. You are the second or third highest paid player in the league, Trevor Lawrence. You got to do better than that, buddy. You got to do better than that. Brian Thomas, another guy off that explosive LSU offense with Jacksonville. He caught 2 balls for 94 yards. As the Jaguars dropped to 0-2, though, gave up 64 yards to Jerome Ford on only 7 carries on the ground. The Browns able to pick up the victory. Next, we got the Las Vegas Raiders going on the road and pulling off the biggest upset of the day, perhaps beating the Baltimore Ravens 26-23. Gardner Minshew rallied them back. He also won in Baltimore last year in Indianapolis, 30 for 38, 276 yards and a touchdown. Derrick Henry had 84 on the ground for the Ravens, not enough. Devontae Adams caught 9 balls for 110 and a tutty to help lead the Raiders on a 10-point fourth quarter comeback and march to victory. Arizona Cardinals 41-10 dismantling of the Rams. A little bit of a surprise there, huge blowout. I don't think anyone saw that one coming. And Marvin Harrison, the rookie, 4 catches, 132 touchdowns in the first half. The first quarter, that man had him a quarter. Trevor Lawrence. Kyler Murray looked great out there, 17-21, 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the Rams are decimated with injuries. Now they're down Cooper Kupp. They're already down Puka Nacua. So it ain't looking good for the Rams unless they can get healthy and make a run. The Denver Broncos drop an ugly one to the Pittsburgh Steelers 13-6. The Steelers are 2-0. They have not won pretty, but a win's a win. And I think Mike Tomlin will tell you he doesn't apologize for W's. As Justin Fields gets his second straight win to start here. And said they wanted for Russell. I know Russell Wilson would have liked to have been out there against Sean Payton and his old team. Wilson's hurt right now. Pretty sure Wilson could have got the win too because this Bronco team looks bad. Bo Nix red zone interception, 20 for 35, 246 yards, and 2 interceptions. They're already calling him Bo Picks. He's struggling, but he's very young, so not going to hold it too much against him. Best game of the day, perhaps the Kansas City Chiefs 26-25 on a last-second Harrison Butker field goal beat the Cincinnati Joe Burrow-led Bengals. Burrow and the Bengals looked bad week 1, but they stepped up today. They would have beat almost any team in the league. Burrow, 23 of 36, 258 yards, a pair of touchdowns. Mike Gesicki led them in receiving with 7 catches, 91 yards, and they lose to Kansas City. Pacheco, 9 catches, 19 runs, 90 yards. Patrick Mahomes had a rough day. He was 18 out of 25 for just 151, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So not an ideal day for him. Jamar Chase was frustrated on the sideline. He only grabbed 4 balls for 35 yards. So I think for him, he wants that big contract. He's not getting it. Doesn't look like this season. And then 4 catches, 35 yards. A lot of emotion out of him. Next, you go to Sunday Night Football, and you get the Houston Texans edging out the Bears in not a pretty win, 19-13, a game in which Caleb Williams was sacked a lot. Caleb Williams was mangled and sacked a lot in this game by the Houston Texans defense. Not a great, impressive win at home, though, but a win's a win here. Stroud, 23 of 36, 260 and a touchdown. Caleb Williams, 23 of 37, 174, 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Now, let me find the sack total. I think it was 9. It was indeed 9 sacks by the Houston Texans defense, as the Texans do just enough to come out with a victory. And we finally end the week with Monday Night Football. The Atlanta Falcons, 22-21 against the Philadelphia Eagles. And Kirk Cousins getting it done in the end, 20 for 29, 241, a pair of touchdowns, including a game winner at the end. Bijan also went for 97 yards on the ground. Darnell Mooney had 88 yards receiving on 3 catches and a touchdown. Drake London, I believe, caught the game-winning touchdown, if I'm not mistaken here. He did catch it. He had 6 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown. And Jalen Hurts had a big interception at the very end of the game when the Eagles were hoping to come back and get it. He went 23 for 30, 183, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Saquon Barkley dropped a big pass that if he would have caught that ball, they could have ran the clock out, and this whole Kirk Cousins drive would not have even happened. But he dropped the ball. Barkley had 95 yards on the ground, 21 in the air on 4 receptions, but didn't catch that one. All right, so now that we're done with week 2, we're going to go to week 3, people. So let me make sure that that is indeed on the screen. Yes, that is week 3. It is indeed on the screen. And not only is it on the screen, I'm going to start off with the game tonight. The game tonight, Thursday Night Football, the New York Jets at home in New Jersey against the New England Patriots. Jets are a 6-point favorite here. I would put my money on the Patriots. I think the Patriots are playing pretty well. They're surprising some people the way they're looking, playing tough, gritty football. I think this game is ugly and low scoring. They keep it close. I like the Jets to win this game something like 16-10 maybe, which 16-10 would be 10 points. That would be a push. But I think the score is going to be around that, maybe even 16-12, 16-13. But don't expect this game to be high scoring. If I was betting on this game, I would take the under. The over-under is 38.5. I would definitely take the under. That would be the play for me. The Cleveland Browns hosting the New York Giants. Giants 0-2. They played better last week despite losing on 7 field goals to the Commanders. Cleveland Browns in this game at home, they won last week. It was kind of ugly, but they won. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to cover this and win at home because I'm not going to trust the Giants and Danny Dimes on the road here. I'm just not going to do it. Danny Dimes, he played better last week. He couldn't have played any worse than he did in the first game. Malik Neighbors is coming into his own and being a star. But I'll take Cleveland at home. Their defense is good. I think their defense will do well enough to cover it. I think they win this game something like 24-10. The Titans and the Green Bay Packers. So Malik Willis, hey, they gave up on him quick in Tennessee, and they ended up trading him. So trade him to the Packers. So for Malik Willis, he would love to come out there and get some retribution here against the Tennessee Titans. Of course, there was a rumor that Jordan Love might play this week. Malik Willis is like, your ass better not play. But Malik Willis would like some revenge on Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans. I think he will get it on the road here. This also will not be a high-scoring game. I would take the under on this game. I'd probably go Packers 20-14 or something along those lines in this game. Chicago Bears, Indianapolis Colts. Colts are 1.5-point favorite at home. They are winless on the season. Anthony Richardson is struggling with 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, barely completing 50% of his passes, 416 total yards. He has a rocket arm. He's a great athlete. Caleb Williams also struggling mightily, hasn't had a single touchdown throw this year. So I picked both of these teams to be pretty good and be playoff contenders. I had the Bears making it, the Colts just missing it. I'm going to take the Colts at home here. 1.5-point favorite. I think it's a close game. I can see them winning it 23-20. Minnesota and Houston. Houston's a 2-point favorite on the road. I like the way Sam Darnold and these guys are playing. I question this one because there's rumors out there that Justin Jefferson and why am I drawing a blank on the other guy's name? Alice, what's his name? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on his name. The number 2 receiver for Minnesota. It's a possibility that they both could be out for this game. And with that being the case, it's going to be hard for me to not go with Houston in this game. It's almost a straight-up spread. The spread's close enough. I think Houston still wins close. I think it's going to be like 23-20, but Jordan Addison, that's his name, Jordan Addison. I don't know why I'm having so much of an issue with his name, but, yeah, so I can see it going that way. 3-point win for Houston. That would cover the small point spread that we got here. So let's see. Let's catch up to where I'm at. The New Orleans Saints against the Philadelphia Eagles. Saints are 2.5-point favorite in the Superdome, home in the Dome. Got to go with them homeboys, the Who Dat Nation. I think they cover this and win this game 27-20. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He'll keep them in the game, but he's turning the ball over too much. So I don't think Philly's ready for this Saints offense. I think my guy Kamara is going to have a monster game, but Hurts and Barkley will keep it close for Philly. But Shaheed, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns here. I'm hoping this is the game Chris Olave comes alive because I have him in fantasy, and I haven't gotten as much out of him. It's been all about Shaheed. But I like the Saints to win and cover. Pittsburgh at home against the Chargers. I think anytime you get Pittsburgh in the game at this point, you might as well take the under. Both of these teams are 2-2. They both are winning ugly. I take the under on both of them anytime. 35.5 points is not many points. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I would be surprised if this game goes over. All it takes is 2 turnovers, a defensive touchdown here and there, and this game is going to go over. But just assuming none of that crazy stuff happens, I would take the under if I was betting on it. And I would probably go Pittsburgh wins this game something like 17-13. Denver Broncos still in search for win number 1 of the season under Sean Payton. 6.5-point dog going to the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My guy Baker Mayfield balling out. Chris Godwin's got 200 yards receiving and a pair of touchdowns on the season. And I think Tampa Bay continues to roll at 3-0. The Broncos continue to fall to 0-3. 6.5 points is a pretty good amount of points. It's a pretty good number. I'll just say the Bucs will probably win this game by a touchdown or 10 points. So I'll go ahead and take them to cover that. I like the way their offense is rolling. I say 27-17 in favor of the Tampa Bay Bucs. The Raiders at home, 1-1, surprise win last week against the Ravens. At home against the Carolina Panthers. That's a given. Carolina benching Bryce Young in favor of Andy Dalton. We now wonder, is it over for Bryce Young? Is he going to have to be a backup somewhere and learn and build his way up? It's kind of a sad story because they traded away so much for this young man. They gave up on him so fast. So, but Raiders getting 5 points. Raiders at home. Give me the Raiders all day. I think this game will be like 20-6. I'll give Carolina a touchdown or so because I think Andy Dalton's an experienced guy and he's a little better than what Bryce Young is at this point in his career. We'll go Raiders 23-14. Raiders victory. My Miami Dolphins versus the Seahawks in Seattle. Spreads going down on this game. It got up to like 5.5, and now it's all the way down to 4. So people are betting on the Dolphins. I'm not very confident in Skylar Thompson having to start this game. Going across the country, had some extra days since he played the Thursday night game. I like the Seahawks in this game. I just don't think Skylar Thompson's ready for this, and I'll take Seattle in this game over Miami to cover the 4 points. I think the Seahawks win this game 23-13. Baltimore Ravens trying to avoid 0-3 going to Dallas and playing the Cowboys. And tough game here. Both teams need a bounce back here, but I don't think the Ravens go 0-3. I think they beat the Cowboys here 26-17, which would be an odd score, but I think the Ravens pull this one off, and they get on the board for a victory. 49ers visiting a decimated with injury Rams team. 49ers are getting 6.5-point favorite. I think the Rams keep this game close. I'm still going to go ahead and pick the 49ers. I think they'll win it by a touchdown, 27-20. But personally, I probably wouldn't want to bet that spread. I probably would skip that one. Detroit going to red hot Arizona. This one has potential to be the game of the day. I say red hot. Arizona's 1-1. They lost that game to Buffalo week 1, but they looked so good last week. I think this game's got a lot of potential to be a really good game. Detroit's looking to bounce back. Arizona's looking to go 2-1. Nice win a week ago. I'm going to say Detroit's going to cover. I hate 3-point spreads. I hate 3, I hate 4, and I hate 7 because a lot of these games are 3 and 4 and 7-point games. So, and we don't want pushes. So I would like Detroit to take this game. I can easily see it being a 3-point game so easily. But I'll go 28-24 and give them the cover. Kansas City going to Atlanta. I like Atlanta in this game, getting 3.5 points. Gritty, tough Monday night win. Kirk Cousins looking like Kirk Cousins again, playing good ball. The Chiefs kind of shaky. Mahomes did not look great in that last game. Bijan's running well. I like the Falcons in a little bit of a mild upset here. I think they win this game 24-23. And 3.5-point dog in their home, in their dome. The Buffalo Bills, 2 Monday night football games. Interesting. Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville. Jacksonville trying to avoid 0-3, and Trevor Lawrence is struggling. But guess what? The Jaguars actually play really, really well historically against Buffalo. So I might be leaning towards a little bit of an upset here. This game's in Buffalo, so it's hard for me to go that route. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to split the difference. I'll have the Bills come out with the victory, but I think I would take Jacksonville on the 5 points. Expect this game to be like 24-21. I think Josh Allen's going to have the other Josh Allen, Josh Hines Allen on his hind tail. He sort of had the other Josh Allen's number, getting sacks, picks, all kind of big plays. And Jacksonville's done well against Buffalo, unlike the other team in Florida that can't beat Buffalo. But I'll take Buffalo there at home, 24-21, close game. Last game's the second Monday night football game. This one's on ABC. The Commanders against the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals cannot go 0-3. I don't see it. I don't think Burrow's going to allow it. I think those guys are going to get it together this week. I think they'll take care of Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, something like 27-20. And they're a 7-point favorite. So, yeah, I would not touch that point spread because I can see it being a 7-point game. I wouldn't touch it. If I had to bet on it, I'll go ahead and take the Bengals and say they win it 31-20. Either way, the Bengals are going to come out and get their first win of the season, in my opinion. All right, folks. So we talked about the games that just happened. We're talking about the games that's coming up. So we'll get ready for another exciting week of football tonight with the Jets and the Patriots, AFC East battle. So as always, remember, peace and sports. For peace and football, since we're talking about football. But on this channel, I will talk about more than just the NFL and college football. That's all I've talked about thus far, but I will be sprinkling in some Major League Baseball. We're talking about the WNBA playoffs. We'll talk a lot about the NBA. I'll talk about everything, maybe even a little bit of hockey occasionally, a little bit of everything, but starting off just football, because football's king. All right, so see y'all later.